NXT proves once again how much you can get done on a 1-hour show. Let's talk about the go-home show to NXT TakeOver Phoenix. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT review for January 23rd, 2019, the go-home show for TakeOver Phoenix, as I mentioned. And there's a lot in this show, but I still have to start off with the housekeeping. Lots of stuff to go over in the house cleaning, so if you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. I don't really care. For those of you that didn't catch it, go back one video. I put up all the highlights, the photos, the videos, and a few of my thoughts for the Destiny Carnage show that I was at leading into the Ritual, which is an pay-per-view that's happening next month that we're going to talk a lot more a later time at a later date. Lots and lots of fun. Obviously, Pete Dunne versus Josh Alexander, fucking amazing main event. Got to meet a couple cool people, and it was just generally a really good show, other than it being like minus 25 and us having to stand outside. My last couple of videos, I want to come to you guys sort of for an opinion thing on this. I've been trying to utilize the YouTube Premiere option, the whole, like, you know, you put your video up at a certain time and you can watch it along with your viewers, etc. There's the chat gimmick on the side and whatever. I have been doing that. I haven't been able to do it. I haven't been able to set a particular type of schedule. I want to know, are you guys interested in that? Are you guys gonna utilize that if I use that? If you are, I'll keep doing it. If not, I might not, because there's no sense in me doing it if you guys aren't getting any enjoyment out of it. The Q&A is still up. Go back down to the, I believe it was the November Q&A. Put your comments down in the box below if you indeed want to have your questions read in the Q&A coming up for Royal Rumble weekend. I don't know when that one's going up. I will be honest with you. I don't know whether that's going to go up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm just not sure yet. I don't know how the rest of my weekend is going to unfold. But I do know that unless our schedules go all out of whack, once again, myself, Kristen, Guapo, we're going to get together sometime tomorrow evening. We are going to do the Royal Rumble / TakeOver Phoenix pay-per-view pick'em. So come along, have a listen for that. You know, you guys know the drill. Give me your picks, rank your picks, play along on Saturday and Sunday night. I'll be trying to update the scores as we go via Twitter. If you're not following me, follow me, Twitter at SpazPhoenix1, as in Spaz Phoenix, like the YouTube name with the number 1. And for those of you that don't know, there's no prizes or nothing like that on the line. It's just a little bit of bragging rights, a little bit of fun to go along with the with the pay-per-view. We did one for TakeOver, or NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. Not very many people participated. I know not everybody watches the UK brand, but I mean NXT, proper NXT, as well as the Big 4 pay-per-views usually get a pretty good participation. And I usually know who's going to play along. Cheney, Mizark 10, Strife, my co-hosts, Kristen and Guapo. You never know who else is going to come along and play along. But it is a lot of fun. Fortune 4, I'm looking at you as well. Zohan, I'm looking at you specifically. All the usual suspects, all the names that have become familiar to me in the comments section over the time that I've been doing the pay-per-view pick'em. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be long. That's a thing, because I mean there's 9 matches on the main card, or on the main Royal Rumble card, and there's 5 matches to go over in this, as well as we're going to talk about the Worlds Collide tournament. For those of you that don't know what the Worlds Collide tournament is, either go to WWE.com because it's there, or just tune into our video. Like I said, it's going to go up probably sometime late tomorrow night. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I actually won the TakeOver UK thing, considering there was only 3 of us playing. But, yeah, stay tuned for that. Give me your questions for the Q&A. Let me know what you guys think of me using the YouTube Premiere function. And for those of you that are curious, that are not from the area, whatever, want to see the highlights from the Destiny show that I was at, they are there as well. I'm going to encourage you guys, once again, February 23rd, Destiny and Blackcraft are having their Ritual pay-per-view that's going to be on Fight. It's going to be a really good time. We've only got 1 match signed so far. I'm going to talk about that sometime probably next week. And I think we can get into NXT now, because this was a hell of a go-home show. This was a better go-home show than Raw and SmackDown gave us, I'll tell you that. We start off with Ricochet arriving at the arena because he's going to confront Johnny Gargano later on tonight. We start with Velveteen Dream in the ring. He's bringing us the Velveteen experience. Says he's got something special in mind for 2019. The Dream waits for no man. The Dream's got a sparkle in his eye, and that sparkle is gold, and that gold is the North American Championship. But before he can go any farther with that, because that's really strange, because the North American Championship match for TakeOver is already signed, he's interrupted by Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. Commentary does a great job of reminding us that Adam Cole was the first ever North American champion, but that's really the only thing that ties these two together. Adam Cole gets on the mic, talks about 2019 is the year of the Undisputed Era. It's the year we're all going to be draped in gold. O'Reilly and Strong already have belts that they're going to be defending on Saturday. Cheap plug for the pay-per-view. Love that. Fish and I are going to have gold someday as well. You can just dream on. And then Bobby Fish, who's questionable on the mic, in my personal opinion, says you can dream on or you can start living in reality. And the reality is this is our year, and that is undisputed. Dream basically says, hey Bobby, I'll fight you, but I'll only fight you if Adam says it's okay. Basically saying Bobby Fish is Adam Cole's bitch, which is hard to deny. Like, what's Bobby Fish as a singles competitor? What has Bobby Fish done on NXT? Roderick Strong's done solo things. Adam Cole's done solo things. Kyle O'Reilly was the one member of that tag team that stayed in the tag team. I'm really sorry. My voice is really shit tonight, by the way. But it was kind of a nice little dig at Bobby Fish, who hasn't really carved out his own niche within that faction, within this brand. So it was nice. They both try to attack Dream. Dream tosses them out of the ring. And that's the end of the segment. We have a video package for Baszler versus Belair. I've spoken ad nauseum what I think about not only Belair as a talent, as a superstar, but as this match in general. I think the match is going to be great. Belair's character is shit. That hasn't really changed. But it is what it is. WWE, NXT with their video packages, they're always great. You don't really need to know what was in this video unless you haven't been watching NXT for the past couple of months. We see a recap of what what Cassius Ohno did to Keith Lee last week, reminding us that Keith Lee is Matt Riddle's friend, and Matt Riddle is going to, in fact, be taking on Cassius Ohno at TakeOver. Now, I don't care about this match in the slightest. I really, really don't, and I really feel bad for Matt Riddle because he should be doing better things. People are consistently telling me that I am mean or disrespectful to Cassius Ohno. It's not that. I'm sure he's a cool guy. I'm sure he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience that he can pass on to some of the other people on this brand. I just don't care when he's on my TV. I just don't. I've compared him, the easiest comparison I can make is Jack Swagger, and it's kind of a weird comparison to make now with all the news coming out about how he's making his MMA debut, and apparently he's finding himself some success in that realm. But when Jack Swagger was a WWE competitor, you could tell he was athletic as hell. He was able. He was nothing but capable. But you couldn't pay me to care about him. And it's the same thing here. If we have another 7-second kick to the face on Saturday, sorry. If we have another 7-second kick to the face on Saturday, it wouldn't hurt my feelings whatsoever. Larkin and Birch versus Barthel and Fabian Eichner. Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. Now, this is funny, because Larkin and Birch are an awesome team. Birch splits his time between NXT and NXT UK. Barthel and Fabian were two guys that did nothing on NXT and became a pretty good team on NXT UK, and yet they're all here fighting. And Larkin's kind of the odd man out if you really think about where everybody lands. But this is a good, hard-hitting match. It's funny because you see the gimmick graphic thing that they put up before the match even comes on, and all these guys look pretty plain if you didn't know them. They all look like blank creative characters from WWE 2K19, but the match was hard-hitting. It was really, really good. It sucked you in. It did that whole, like, I don't know if I really care about this match, to really, really pulling you in at the end, which is the hallmark of a great match, isn't it? Larkin and Barthel start, wrist lock by Larkin, a mudhole by Barthel, backbreaker by Fabian, a double mudhole stomp by the heels, right hands by Barthel, right hands by Birch, trip by Birch, a headbutt, some chops, and some uppercuts, an air raid crash by Barthel, and a lariat by Fabian. Lots and lots of stiff uppercuts and stiff lariats in this match. Insecurity by Barthel. Barthel tosses Larkin into a suplex by Fabian, which was a nice little airborne spot. And from, like I say, from four really strong guys in this match, you don't expect there to be necessarily such an airborne type of offense was the word I was looking for there, that I struggled for. Suicide dive by Barthel, a single leg crab by Larkin, lariat by Birch, chops and uppercuts by Larkin, a suicide dive by Larkin, a plancha by Fabian. They sort of muddle around a little bit, everybody's sort of jockeying for position. Eventually Larkin gets the win, and Larkin and Birch, eventually Larkin gets a roll-up, and Larkin and Birch get the win. Words are hard. I'm sorry. Larkin and Birch are a fun team to watch if you just want to see the other team get absolutely fucked up. Barthel and Eichner are still sort of shaking off that feeling of, hey, here's a team that we threw together because we didn't have anything else for these guys. But then again, not too long ago, Larkin and Birch were sort of shaking off that same stink. And in an era where we're putting Hawkins and Ryder back together on Raw, I can't really use that as a judgmental tool, can I? Good match overall. Unexpectedly good match. I didn't know what to expect entirely from this match, and it fired on all cylinders. We see a video package for Ciampa and Black. See my comments from earlier. WWE does great video packages. If you didn't know what was going on between these two, you would after watching the match. Cool thing of tonight is they've decided that Io Shirai and Kairi Sane are a tag team. Now that's cool. It is, because you've got two other people we're going to talk about later on who are also a tag team, and it could become very, very interesting. Now, we've just introduced the women's tag team titles on the main roster. It was announced by the beautiful and gorgeous Alexa Bliss that that title was going to be decided at the Elimination Chamber. 3 teams from Raw, 3 teams from SmackDown. Now, no mention of NXT, but we've heard the rumors that these titles are going to float between the brands, so I wonder if that means between all the brands, because I'm not going to lie, if you want to sort of get my hopes up, throw in Sasha and Bayley, throw in the Riot Squad, throw in Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, throw in, I don't know, some other team from SmackDown, throw in these two, and throw in the other two that we're going to talk about shortly. But Io Shirai and Kairi Sane debuting as a tag team, taking on Taniya, Brooks, and Amber Nova. I don't know. If you know, you can tell me. Io and Nova start the match. Io works the arm with a drop kick. Series of double teams and knockdown and a neckbreaker by Sane. Sliding D by Sane. Cheap shot by Nova only gets Brooks into the ring. She eats an interceptor from Sane. Forearms by Io. 619. Springboard double drop kick. Double team elbow by Sane. This was really cool. You had Io Shirai and Kairi Sane both in the ring. Io tosses Sane up to do her elbow drop in the middle of the ring, and then Kairi returns the favor, tossing Io up to do her moonsault in the middle of the ring. If that's going to be what they do to finish off, it's very unique, because it's not a double team move that you're doing to somebody, but it's two airborne maneuvers that you're propelling your opponent. It's a weird new visual, and I mean, it's wrestling. We've pretty much seen everything, so if you can give me something that looks a little different, presents itself a little differently, it's a little bit of a different dynamic, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Then we see them in the back after a commercial break, or what NXT equivalent of a commercial break is, and they're in the back by the trucks, and they get just vaguely and not very well threats from Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, making fun of Kairi for being injured, and it's not very good, but the match intrigues me, and that's the other team I would throw into that Elimination Chamber if you guys hadn't put that together already. Now, I do like the whole way they're already trying to come up with cliche ways of referring to this tag team, because, you know, what's her name? Io Shirai is like the mistress of the sky, or the goddess of the sky, and whatever, and obviously Kairi Sane has the whole sailing gimmick. So Mauro Ranallo on commentary saying that they're attacking from sea and sky was a thing. That's something I could get on board. It's a little cheesy. It's very Ranallo-esque, but it's something I can definitely get on board with. What I can also get on board with is Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish in our main, it's not our main event, never mind, but it is our main event match of the evening. Back elbow by Dream, series of kicks by Fish, shoulder tackle by Fish, and a drop kick by Dream. Top rope axe handle by Dream and a triangle drop kick to the outside. Axe handle by Dream once again on the outside, who clubs the back, and both men trade punches, and they brawl a little bit. Beautiful move. I gotta give it to Bobby Fish, who I just was talking shit about a second ago. He hits a dragon screw leg lock on the outside, throwing Velveteen Dream into the guardrail in the process, and fucking up his leg right good. Slingshot senton to the knee by Bobby Fish. If you picture, the best example I can come up with is the late great Eddie Guerrero, that slingshot senton that he did. Now imagine all that weight just coming down on somebody's kneecap. That was you know, not something new, but a new way of using something old, and it fit into the psychology, and it was all good. Chop block by Fish, continuing to work on the leg, and a single leg crab, boots to the face by Dream, a high knee and a drop kick. He's pulling off the moves, he's still moving around on the bad knee, but he's selling it in between every single maneuver, so hats off to him. Corner chops by Dream and a mudhole stomp and a spinebuster. Purple Rainmaker, but it gets basically caught and reversed into a knee bar by Fish. Dream goes to grab the rope, but Adam Cole is on the outside pulling the rope just out of his reach, which was really, really nice. And the desperation on the face of Velveteen Dream was fantastic as well. Cole argues with the ref, causes a minor distraction. Dream tries for the Dream Valley driver, but his knee buckles, selling the knee. Fucking fantastic. But instead, in his frustration, he throws Fish out of the ring onto Cole, and by the time that Fish gets back into the ring, he's collected himself enough to properly pull off the Dream Valley driver, struggle to the top rope, hit the Purple Rainmaker, and get the win. Now, because we're all talking about gold, and none of the three guys involved in this match have any gold, I don't know what this means for any of the people involved in this match. But what I will say is what I mentioned earlier, and I've got it written down because fuck me if I'm going to remember all these names. The Worlds Collide tournament. Now, I was going to make a big deal about the people not being used on this pay-per-view because I thought Nikki Cross should have had one more pay-per-view match before she went up to the main roster, but that's fine. Adam Cole, how does he not have a match at TakeOver? How does Velveteen Dream not have a match at TakeOver? And there's a couple others. But whatever, apparently during Royal Rumble Access, they are doing a tournament that is not being televised now, but will be televised later as a special. I'm not really sure how that works. The details on it are kind of foggy at best, and I'm reading them mostly off dirt sheets. But the Worlds Collide tournament is talent from NXT, NXT UK, and 205 Live are all going to compete in one tournament over the course of the Royal Rumble Access weekend, and the winner of the entire tournament will get a shot at the title of their choosing. So they're kind of treating the winner of this tournament the same way they treat the winner of the respective Royal Rumbles. You win, you get to decide what title you go after. Now, there's some people here in this list of stars that I'm about to read out that are definitely not under 205. So it's basically like they're going to fight for their own brand if they get it. But it might be a nice way to sort of take one or two people and just sort of shuffle them around a little bit. But from NXT, we have Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Dominic Dijakovic, I still hate that name, I think it's dumb, Keith Lee, and Shane Thorne. Now, Shane Thorne's the interesting one because we know that Nick Miller just decided to leave NXT. He wanted to stay home in Australia, be with his family, he's just had a kid, etc. All the power to him, but when one half of a tag team leaves, then you gotta wonder what's gonna happen to the other guy. Shane Thorne is obviously still in, he's been thrown into this tournament, it's all good. NXT UK, represented by Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate, Travis Banks, Jordan Devlin, and Zach Gibson. Now, Jordan Devlin is the one that sticks out to me for that, because he just had that amazing, unexpected match with Finn Balor at TakeOver Blackpool. But also, I gotta say, Tyler Bate sticks out, because I saw Tyler Bate on Sunday taking on a guy named Aiden Prince in a fucking phenomenal match. So, 2 stars in there, plus Mark Andrews is just a lot of fun. And then 205 Live gives us Cedric Alexander, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, TJP, and Humberto Carrillo, which I don't really understand, because Humberto Carrillo is a NXT talent now. We saw him have that great match with Johnny Gargano last week, but I don't know why they're not just putting that on before the Royal Rumble, because that would be a great little bonus. You watch that, then you watch 2 hours of the kickoff with the matches that we don't give a fuck about. Rusev and Nakamura is going to be shit, isn't it? And the Cruiserweight match, which I'm sure will be good, but has been relegated to the pre-show, so whatever. Just, like, give your whole day over to wrestling. I don't know. I'm rambling now. That's also a thing. We get 2 announcements for the for next week's NXT, which is basically that NXT that they tape before TakeOver. We're going to see the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. We get a quick reminder of what the Forgotten Sons did to them last week, and we are indeed going to get the match between Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and the 2 horsewomen of Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. So that's all good, and that's going to be on the bigger stage, so I'm happy for them for that. Street Profits are another one that I was kind of surprised were not on the actual card, but then when we found out that War Raiders were the ones getting the title shots, then it all kind of makes sense. Street Profits, I really, really want good things for them, because they're an entertaining team. They're a good team, but equally so, they're also an entertaining tag team, so you don't run into the same problem as you had with the tag match I was talking about earlier, with 4 great guys that are a little on the generic side. Ricochet comes out to confront Johnny Gargano before their match this Saturday at TakeOver. Says, Johnny, Johnny, you always talk about being better than everybody, but why did you have to come out and blindside me if you're so much better than me? Last year you showed your true colors, you're manipulative, you're a liar, you're deceptive, and you turn on everybody. Last year I also showed my true colors, I became a champion, and I'm still a champion. Gargano comes out to cut him off, keeps calling him Rick, which is funny to me, only because every time somebody gets called Rick, it just reminds me of Walking Dead. And Rick's sort of dead, but kinda, but not really. Walking Dead has its own version of kayfabe, and I don't know why I'm talking about Walking Dead now. You can't wind me up in 2019. I bet you'd love me to come down there and take advantage of my my emotions and my instability, or my supposed instability, but it's 2019 and I have a plan. I don't know what the plan is, because both of these guys start throwing punches at each other, but not very long, as Ricochet is sneak attacked by Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa attacks Ricochet, Gargano and Ciampa look at each other. Black attacks Ciampa, and Gargano helps him. They double team Black, they double team Ricochet. This goes around for a little while. They help each other, but then they kind of look at each other, give each other the eyeball, whatever. But finally, Black tries to attack Ciampa, and Gargano hits him with the super kick. All four men brawl as the crowd screams DIY. They get back in there once again, leave Ricochet and Black laying. I really thought that they were both going to grab the two respective belts and just pose face to face, both of them holding a title. I thought that would have been really cool. It also would have made a really nice thumbnail for this video, would it not? But they didn't. They walked up the rampway, and they were Ciampa, like, with the tentativeness in his face, just sort of half-ass puts his hand out there, and you can see Gargano about to shake it, but at the very last second he gets pulled away by Candice LeRae, basically being like, what the fuck, you think you're doing this again? Fucking no. Pulls him right out. And the last thing you hear, it's really sad, because you want to end the show on this really tense, you know, almost DIY moment, but Candice LeRae, that was a really bad place for my camera to go out. Anyways, as I was saying, we had this big tense moment with Gargano and Ciampa, and the big handshake that was about to happen, and Candice LeRae pulling him away, and it's supposed to be this big, bad, serious moment, and all you hear from the crowd is one guy saying, "Don't be whipped, Gargano!" And that just, it ruined it for me on one side of the coin, and it actually made me howl laughing on the other side of the coin. But what do you guys think of NXT? Let me know down in the box below. What have we got for TakeOver on Saturday? We've got Ono versus Riddle, which I just couldn't be paid to give a shit about. We've got the tag match, War Raiders taking on the Undisputed Era. We've got the ladies match with Baszler and Belair. We've got Gargano and Ricochet, which I'm sorry to the main event is going to steal the show. And you got Black versus Ciampa. Now Candice LeRae's throwing herself back in the mix. How's that going to affect things? Will Gargano and Ciampa ensure each other's victories at TakeOver, or will they fuck each other over? I don't know. We're going to talk about it a lot. We are going to discuss the hell out of it tomorrow when we do the Royal Rumble and TakeOver pay-per-view pick 'em. Please come join us then if you feel like it. Also, because NXT UK, I forgot to mention this in my housekeeping, but I will say, because NXT UK is back to being only one episode a week, I'm going to see about either doubling up those episodes on Wednesday nights, or giving you this on a Wednesday and that on the Thursday when there's not something else to be done on Thursday. That's going to be a work in progress. And like I said, let me know down in the box below what you guys would like to see. Would you like to see both shows on one night, or are you okay with me doing this tonight and giving you the UK show tomorrow? I know more people watch this, so I'm assuming that this is going to be the flag planted in the sand for Wednesday nights. But again, you guys are the ones watching. You guys got to let me know what you want. Let me know what you're thinking as we go into TakeOver. As I say, very sorry about my voice. For right now, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.